So the thing that grabbed me the most and really caught my attention, my excitement, was um, the presentation on Thousand Eyes and how they are working on integrating into the Cat 9K, into App Dynamic, and getting that Thousand Eyes kind of look into the network. I'm a firm believer that network visibility is really important. It's the basis of not just knowing what your network is doing, but keeping your network safe and keeping your users and your data safe. So for me, pushing that network visibility button was very important. So that was what I took into it, and really thought it was very exciting.
The thing that was most interesting to me was the optical platform work that they've done by embedding the DSP into the transponders. You don't often see a lot of talk about service provider technologies, optical networking in particular. It's a bit of a dark art that you sort of have to just have the opportunity to get your hands on it. And I think that it's becoming a lot more common with DCI and things like that. And it's becoming a much more approachable technology for folks that are able to get access to fiber. So I thought that was pretty valuable.
I'll tell you, being in the service provider world, one of the things that I really liked, and I think is valuable to the service provider community, is that there is a focus on streamlining OpEx and streamlining operations. So in looking at the convergence of the IP layer and the optical layer and the things that we dug into there, I think there's a lot of value there for service providers, because keeping up with the pace of intercontinental transport and even continental transport and regional and rural broadband and all these things that we have to glue together, especially given the events of the past year, that's a challenge. We're always trying to scale to keep up. And when you have complex operations and separate the optical layer and the IP layer, it makes it a lot harder to rapidly scale that. And then it also makes you more prone to outages, like we've seen with some tier 1 ISPs. So learning that was a thing, that there was focus on that, and that they were moving towards that was a valuable thing for me to see.
Well, it's important as a network engineer to really be on that edge, to know not just what's coming down the pipe in terms of technologies, but to know what are the trends coming up that I'm going to have to pivot to, or that maybe the business is going to have to pivot to. Things like the Thousand Eyes integration into the Cat 9K or into App Dynamics. Those are important things to know that are coming down the pipe. Those are important trends to kind of keep your fingers on the pulse of. And so having these kind of exclusive look-sees into what's coming down is like having a really big set of binoculars to be able to see what's coming at you, a couple miles, few miles down the road, so you can be better prepared, so you can, keep yourself on your feet rather than getting bowled over by what's coming.
The value for me is that you're getting to be hyper focused on different technologies over an extended period of time, because I've been to a number of field day events where we go through a lot of different things, which are great, but I like the focus and getting deeper on a lot of different things that they're doing and what they're presenting, and learning about those things more in depth. That was valuable for me. So I think what I'd like to see is, if you remember, I think it was back in maybe early 2020, we did a TFD Extra with the segment routing group, the SRv6 group within Cisco. And we talked about what's going on in that space and how providers are having to basically look at their control plane and their forwarding plane. And while we've been very focused on IPv4 in service providers, we're starting to have to move towards IPv6 control planes and forwarding planes. And I think the work that the V6 group is doing with SRv6 is really important. There's been a lot happened in the last year that we've seen there, and I'd like to hear an update on that and see where that is with things like SRv6 Plus and what's going on in that space. I think that would be incredibly valuable.
As much about the IPv6 stack that anyone is willing to tell me. I want to see as much detail about running in IPv6 only networks. I want to see more about transition technologies, what their plans are, how deep the protocol is built into all of the platforms, and what the future horizon looks like for that technology.
I would like to see some of the folks from the DevNet group, Susie Wee and her group, come and present. As I was talking about, being able to keep a weather eye as to what are the trends that are in the industry. It's glaringly obvious for anybody who's even like a casual follower of Tech Field Day that automation is the thing that people are interested in. It's going to be the way that we make our network engineers smarter, more omniscient, being able to see farther away. Those tools are the tools that we're going to have to all learn to pick up and use well. And so Cisco DevNet's kind of drive to get everybody excited and interested and comfortable, and then savant with those tools is really important. So I would love to see those folks come in and present for us.
I've heard other field day delegates give this answer, and so I'm going to cheat a bit, but it's only because it really is valid, and that's that people often say that the field day videos are a source of information that they go back to time and again. And I do it. I work as an independent consultant. I work across a number of different vendors with clients all over the world. And I can't think of a given week where I don't link to a field day video and say, this is a tech that you need to know about. This is a tech that we talked about and we looked at and that you need to know about. And here is a deep dive on it so that you can be smart on it in 30 minutes or an hour because you're a busy person. So I see value in that because we get some of the most amazing technical details from talking to the people that are building these products and developing these products. And more to the point, we get to give them feedback on what we think about it. And so for somebody that's trying to rapidly digest what's going on in IT and understand where the hot parts are and what they need to focus on, I think the videos that TFD puts out are invaluable for that.
The delegates will hold feet to fire when it comes to technology. We'll ask the hard questions. We'll run the answers to ground to the satisfaction that we can get out of it. And a lot of them are, deep technical things that are hard to find in other places that may not be, well socialized. And, the delegates will get down to those details.
They're exciting because they're just interesting and it's just cool, neat stuff.